Hello everybody, how's it going? Our lesson today it's about array of structure. Array of structure will help us to take data of many persons. For example, if I want to insert through the console screen as a user informations for many students, for example 5 students, 2 students, 10 students, instead I insert through the console screen the information of this student or this person, first name, last name, age and phone number, and after that I let the compiler print it, and the compiler again display for me the same questions to take information for the second person. Instead we do this, we can use array of structure at the same time, or we use the array with the structure at the same time. We just insert the information of the 10 person or 5 person. For example, I take the first name, second name, and phone and age for the first person, and compiler again display for me the same questions to take information for the second person. And the compiler for the third time also display for me the same question to take the information of the third person. And after I finish take information for all the persons, compiler print them for me same time the information of these all persons or students. So I have a small example in the beginning. We'll go now to Visual Studio to see how can we use array of structure. I have small example to explain to you what is array abstraction. After that we have homework and we solve it together also in this lesson. Let's go to Visual Studio. Alright, this is our program. We have hashtag include a string, hashtag include string using std, and we have this struct from the previous lesson, struinfo. Inside it we define these data types, 3 strings with 1 integer, and we declare this for variables: first name, last name, age and phone number. We didn't assign to these variables any values. And here in the main function we define, or we use the name of the struct, which is user defined data type. So we use the name of the data type that we created that belong to the struct. It's under user defined data type. All right, and after that, because we define our data type in the main function, we have to declare a variable. So we declare a variable and name it persons, but we're not like the variable normal. We use array with it. We make it an array. We create array of struct. So that's why we call that array of structure, because when we add of 2 or 2 square brackets inside it number, which mean now the variable is array. We create already array. For that we call it array of structure, because the structure of the name that is stored inside it, the variables, we didn't assign to it any value. And at the same time we make the variable of this struct name, which is the user defined data type, we create from it array. So for that we call it array of structure, and we want to assign for the first index of the array, because the first index of the array starts from 0. So we have now 2 variables. They have the same names, persons, it exists inside the array as we take in the previous video or previous lessons, but each variable inside the array, it has a different index. So to assign for the first index or the first variable exists inside the array values, we will use this syntax. We will write it like this: persons of 0 dot first name equal Sam, persons of 0 dot last name equal Adam, persons of 0 dot age equal 33, persons of 0 dot phone number or equal, we put any number. All right, all these values we assign it to the same variables that exist inside the struct, but under the first index variable, which means this information for the first person. Instead we write it like this: struinfo person1, and we go here, we write, for example, again struinfo person2. Instead we declare many variables, and we use many times the name of the struct or the user defined name that belong to the struct. We use it many times, and we declare many variables. We can just use one time the name of the struct, and we declare variable one time, and we make it array. Now we have 2 times of these variables, which is array. All right, and we assign this information that belong to person1, for example, under the first index of the array. So if I want now to assign different information for the person 2 or the second person, I will write it like this: person of 1, person of 1 dot first name equal Adam, for example, last name Sam, age 22, number wherever. So to write it together, for example, I want to make the array person of 3 to have information for the third person. We will use this syntax. We will use the name of the variable of 3 the third variable inside the array or the third index inside the array dot, directly it's give me the variables inside the struct, because the person's name, the person variable, it's belong to the struct name that actually exists inside the variable name. So once I use the variable name and I use the number of the index, and after that I do dot, the compiler give me menu for the variables that exist inside the struct. So I will use, for example, first name equal Alex, semicolon, person of 3 dot, last name equal Jack, semicolon. And if I want to print information of any persons I have, I will come here, I will use cout object less than person of 0 dot first name. I want to print from the first person the first name, and also I want to print from the first person because persons of 0, the first person inside the array, it will be under index 0 because the array start its index from 0, as we said before. All right, and also I want to print from the first person, I want to print also the last name of this first person, and from the second person I want to print age, and from the second person also I want to print the phone number, and from the third person cout less than person of 2, it should to be 2 here, sorry, not 1, not 3, 2 exactly, sorry, person of 2 dot, I want to print just the last name and end line. Once we did run, the compiler should print for me first name, last name of the first person, age and phone of the second person, and last name for the third person. Perfect. The compiler print for me the first name of the first person, which is Sam, it's correct, and Adam is the last name of the first person, correct, and the age and the phone just of the second person. The age is 22 for the second person, that's true, and this number of the second person, it's correct. And the compiler print for me the last name of the third person, which is Jack, that's correct. Person of 2, it was the third person that we take its information and assign it to the variable last name, it was Jack, and the compiler print for me Jack. So that's how we use array of structure. Now let's get back to our slides to take a small homework and we'll solve it also together. All right, this is our program. I want you to try to program using array of structure that we just take it right now, and with procedures. All right, to do the following: to take information of the first person and take information of the second person and print them after that. Don't let the compiler take the first information of the first person and print it, and after that display for you the questions, take information of the second, print it, and print it. No, I want the compiler take information of the first person, and before it's print this information of this first person, display for second time the same questions, collect also the information of the second person, and after collect information of 2 persons in same time, after that let the compiler print the informations of these 2 persons together in same time. And now let's go to see how we can solve this problem together on Visual Studio. All right, this is our homework code. We have here hashtag include a stream, hashtag include a string using std, and we have this struct from the last example and even from the last previous lessons. We take it starting from the lesson of the val, or by ref, or by val, or by ref, and also we have this procedure, it's from that lesson by ref or by val, and also this procedure readInfo and printInfo, they're actually old, and we use with it by reference to reflect the values in the bin function we want to print it. So let's see what inside the struct: first name, last name, age, and phone. And this procedure we already take it before. readInfo, what's the readInfo has? readInfo procedure, we have parameters here using the name of the struct, and we declare a name of the variable because we're using the name of struct, and the name of struct is user defined data type. Well, it's user defined data type, indeed is the data type, the user of the struct, in the end it's data type, but under user defined data type, so we have to declare after that variable. So we declare variable, we name it info, but we make it by ref because we don't want the compiler to copy from these variables and just use it here. When it's by val, the compiler do copy, as we said, from this variable, and we just use it here inside the procedure. And after the compiler finish executed what inside the procedure, it doesn't take the values with it till outside, till the main function to reflect it there or be affected there in the main function, because it was by val, and by val, which means compiler do copy from the variables. So the compiler take the original variables, and we modify or we add the values on the original variables with their exact address or reference or location in the memory. We have to make it by ref. So this readInfo information just display questions and take values from the user through the console screen and store it inside these variables that actually exist inside the struct, that we reach them through info variable that we declare it inside the parameter of readInfo procedure, and we make it by ref to make reflect in the main function. And this second procedure also, it was from that listen by val and by ref printInfo. And we also have a parameter of this printInfo procedure, and printInfo procedure just print the information or the data that you take it from the user to the console screen. So we use just the name of the variables after it's already full with the values that we take it from the user to the console screen, and we store it inside these variables. The new procedure here, we have this read person's info. Read person's info, we call the read info procedure twice. How we call it twice? We call it twice because we create array of structure in the parameters of read person's info. Why we create an array in the parameters of read person's info procedure? Because instead we go here to the main function, we call this read info procedure twice to print or to read information of the first person, and after that we call it in the main function for second time to let the compiler read or display questions for the user and take information of the second person. Instead we make this code spaghetti and not clear in the main function. We always try to make our main function clear and just one line of code or two line of code maximum to let the compiler go to the main function on clean code, just one line of code or two lines of code. And after that, everything we do it in functional procedure, as we said, because our programming, it's relies so much on function and procedure. For that, they call it function programming and procedure programming. So we create this procedure, read person's info, and we create an array or array of structs, and after that we call this read info that's actually display question to the user and take data from the user to console screen. We called it twice inside this procedure because we have an array here. So person of 0, the first information of the first person, it will be stored inside the first variable that exists inside the array that it has the first index, which is persons of 0, and persons of 1, it's the second variable that exists inside the array that it has position of 1. And we have this also new procedure, print persons info. Print persons info also, we create array of structure inside its parameter, and we call the second procedure. So we just add these two procedures to this code. We call inside this procedure that is called print persons info. It has array of structure inside its parameters. We call this procedure print info to let the compiler after display the questions twice after each other, first name, last name, age and phone, and after that also first name, last name, age and phone. After the compiler collect information of two persons, after that the compiler will bring them together directly. And here, just in the main function, we use the name of the struct, we create array of struct person of 2, and we call the new procedure that we just created them for this homework, read persons info. We give it parameter persons without of 0 or of 1. Why? Because already inside this read persons info we called it twice, and inside this print persons info we called it twice already. The array of struct, we use it inside this procedure, so we just give it the name of the variable that belong to the struct. Do run to understand the code. Very good, perfect. The compiler start to display for me the questions. Please insert the first name Sam, the last name Adam, age 22, please enter phone number wherever. And once I press enter, it shouldn't print for me this information because my demand was to write a program to display for the user twice this question and collect information of two persons first, and after that print them. That was my demand, or that was the program condition that I want to build it. So according to this program demand or program conditions, we use array of structures with these two procedures that we just created them for this homework. So once I print enter, the compiler should display for me this question again. Perfect. The compiler display for me the questions again. Once I press enter, please enter the first name, Jack, the last name, adult, the age, 33, 44, whatever, phone number, whatever. And now once I press enter, the compiler should display for me the information of these two persons together as a card, right? Let's see together. Perfect. Compiler now display for me the information of these two persons together in same time. Instead, we collect the first information and print the information and collect the information and print it after that. It was the condition of this program that we write program to display first this question to the users. Depends on how many persons we have. If you have two persons, so this question it will be displayed for 2 times. If you have 3 persons, so this question it will be displayed for 3 times. But now because we have 2 persons, we display this question for 2 times, and after that we print their information in same time together. By the way, I will put for you this code in the description down below just to practice, to write it by yourself, to copy it and put it in the Visual Studio or any IDE you use, and to see how this code was written. That was the lesson of today, guys. I'll see you next lesson. Ciao.